Director of IAST, our colleagues from Nelson Mandela University, our colleagues from here, University of Ghana, our distinguished students, participants in this workshop, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this morning, and I bring you a warm welcome from the School of Engineering Sciences here at the University of Ghana, where we are nurturing the next generation of innovators. I'm happy to be here participating in this workshop and to see so many of our students who are interested in here for this. At the University of Ghana, we are working with a strategic plan with 5 strategic priorities. The first is a transformative student experience. This is very much in line with that. By participating in this workshop, we expect that our students will have an experience that will stay with them and will help them to gain what they came here for, which is an education that is worth having for the future of work. The second is impactful research, and we expect that the ideas that they bring up here will bring up research ideas even for faculty and our partners. Third is commitment to our faculty and staff. I'll skip that one for now. Fourth is partnerships, engagement and partnerships, which is very much in line with what we are doing here. We have different groups coming together to partner for an impactful project. And finally, sustainable resource mobilization and stewardship. All these help us to grow as a university, and we are happy that the Institute of Applied Science and Technology and the partners are bringing opportunities like this for all of us. We are very much in support, and we look forward to seeing the outcomes of this very exciting program. We look forward to seeing what our students will gain out of this and what we'll be able to get out of all of this experience. We look forward to future partnerships, even stronger engagements with you, our partners from Nelson Mandela University, and we look forward to seeing what our students will come up with. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Distinguished guests, facilitators, colleagues, I'm really honored to be here. When my director informed me that I'll be giving some few remarks here, in fact, I almost forgot, and then he reminded me this morning when I was teaching the class, and how important this event is. I have to stop teaching to come over here. So thank you very much, Director. I want to say some few words. I know this Digital Ubuntu, as a matter of fact, because I think it's a South African language, we are, I am because we are. And because of the way it's structured, I believe that both University of Ghana students and students from Nelson Mandela University, we have a very big experience coming out from this because it's very collaborative. And as our Dean said, based on the transformative agenda for University of Ghana strategic plan, there are 5 main pillars that we are all looking forward to, from the SO department to the deans, to the provost, and then the vice chancellor. All of these 5 pillars are really something we hold so dear. So collaboration is part of it. Now let me turn my attention to cybersecurity, because I am because we are. We know that cybersecurity is no longer something that is now cross-domain. It goes beyond borders, and we need to work together collaboratively and then do a lot of research on that. So all the Nelson Mandela University students and those of us in UG, you are welcome for this collaboration to be a big event. Thank you. I want to say something very brief about Nelson Mandela. He's my hero. In fact, I share the same birthday with him. So July 18th, I will be having my birthday. Yeah, so when I was growing up, okay, when he was released from prison and I was growing up in the 90s, in fact, my father used to point to me that you have the same birthday with that man, and I want you to do great. And that really became a motivation for me. Thank you very much, Nelson Mandela University. You are welcome to UG.
Yourselves available to all my panelists to serve on this panel. I know that it is not an easy task, as your colleagues in the audience, they will agree. It will take a lot for a young person to say, you can hear my voice today. But it is important, the fact that you're here seated on the stage, because Africa needs to hear your voice, because we need to make a bigger noise globally about the issues that relate to how we experience technology, how we engage with technology, and how we develop technological solutions from an African perspective. With those few words, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm a lecturer at the School of IT, Nelson Mandela University. And this is my panel that will be joining us as we talk about issues AI related. I will throw them, I'll throw a twist to the tail. Those who know me were expecting it. I'll be kinder to the guys that don't know me. I'll throw a bit of a twist to the tail because you will see, but it's primarily our conversation will center on what we've seen presented today and what the opening remarks actually also alluded to, and obviously the hot topic of artificial intelligence. Okay, so please relax. What we're looking for is this is not an assessment guideline. There isn't a correct or incorrect answer. This is just asking for your opinions, and some of those opinions will be clarified and challenged by the colleagues, and that's welcome, because that's how we become smarter. Okay? So as you're listening on the phone, you also have a responsibility to take notes. You hear something mentioned on this stage, and you're going to think, hey, yeah, but that was in 2014. I know that has changed. We expect you to also help enlighten us in that manner. Or if there's any particular question that you want to ask, not to a particular question, but to the entire panel, please also note that on your side, okay? So overview on the topic, we're at a historic crossroads. Intelligence is compressing traditional technological adoption timelines from decades into months, and expanding rapidly from basic pattern recognition into autonomous and agentic action. The UN Independent International Scientific Panel on AI has actually highlights that AI is transforming societies, economies, education, health systems, governance, and communication at an unprecedented pace, happening very fast. AI offers significant opportunities for advancing health, education, scientific discovery, agriculture, and economic productivity. However, it also raises concerns regarding misinformation, inequality, employment, privacy, human rights, child safety, and governance. So this student panel that is constituted here today will actually aim to examine some of the benefits, some of the challenges, and some of the governance implications of AI, and hopefully bringing their own diverse experiences and perspectives into the conversations. Okay, so that is just the overview for what we plan to talk about in this next 30 minutes. Okay. With those few words, I will start from my extreme right and work my way down to my immediate right here. So please just introduce yourself like I did, but also as soon as you tell us who you are and what you're studying, and which year you're studying, a level of study, your thoughts on AI. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And good morning to us all. My name is Stanley Agbola, a third-year biomedical engineering student in the School of Engineering Sciences, UG. my thoughts on AI. We've come a long way. I think AI is arguably one of the most transformative tools we've seen in a long while. And the question is not really about what the future, what AI is going to do to our future, but then it's actually about what benefits we are going to get, what we can do with AI as humans, what additions we can make, and then how to leverage on this artificial intelligence we've come to live with, because the future has already changed. In fact, it's up to us to leverage on what AI has for us.
Thank you, Stanley.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bubuyo once again. I'm doing final year IT from NMU. My interest in artificial intelligence is on transformation, right? Basically on human lives, including children lives. And then also dividends. It's not about the access in terms of the sort of artificial intelligence. So those are part of my interest in it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miriam Aniwa, and I'm a biomedical engineering student. My thoughts on AI are, I think there comes a time when the world evolves. So there's been the Stone Age, Industrial Age, Metal Age, and we are entering a new age, which is the AI age, let me see. So it's up for us to adapt to it, even though some people don't support AI. But if we hadn't adapted from the beginning of time, we won't be where we are now. So we all have to embrace the change with the introduction of AI.
Thank you, Miriam.
Hi everyone, I'm Wilfred Asumboya, psychology graduate from Nelson Mandela University. I think for me, coming from my field of study is health, the concerns around health and AI, specifically towards children. There are more and more cases of users seeking psychological assistance from AI, people committing suicide from the lack of the humanness of AI. So that is my greatest interest area when it comes to AI. Thank you.
Thank you, Nana.
Hello. Okay, so good morning. My name is Akua Asantewaa Sarkodie. I'm a 300 biomedical engineering student here at the University of Ghana. And I think that yes, AI has brought about so many improvements and it has changed the lives of many. But then we should, what we should be doing right now, like our focus in the continuous improvements of AI, is to define clear standards on safety, clear standards on ethics, clear standards on who takes accountability when something goes wrong or when harm comes to somebody as a result of something that the AI has done. Right now, it's a continuous shift between the developers, it's a shift between the governments who decide on the use of AI or the organizations that decide to employ the use of AI, or maybe even the individuals themselves. Who exactly is held accountable for the things that are brought about by AI? And I think that's what, in our quest to continue to bring improvements through AI, we should focus on. Thank you.
Before you pass the mic, I didn't catch your name.
Akua Asantewaa Sarkodie.
My name is Wilfred Asumboya. I am a fourth-year student at NMU studying my master's in IT software. When I think about AI, it's a very interesting topic, and ever since we entered the 2020s, it's been a word think everyone's knows, AI has been rapidly growing, and my main area of interest is how we can govern AI. So I think, because we've seen such a rapid growth, I think there is a much larger need to govern AI and, like she said, see who takes responsibility for many things. And I think that comes with the policies that need to be developed. So, but how can you develop policies when something grows this rapidly? So that's something that we need to think about. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Wilfred Asumboya. I'm a level 300 biomedical engineering student. So my thoughts on AI. I think we are very, very lucky to be born into this generation, especially. Okay, so I was saying so I think we are very lucky to be born into this generation, especially when attention is all you need came out. And ever since, what AI has brought in from the very start has changed a lot. Because right now, AI suggests that if you are to train an AI, you either teach it the rules, or like you give it the rules, or you allow it to learn the rules from data. But then, right now, everyone is a user of artificial intelligence, but I think those that are grounded in the fundamentals are who are going to stay relevant in the near future. Thank you.
Hello everybody. My name is an alumni from the Nelson Mandela University, currently working as an IT facilitator at Akua Academy. My views on AI, actually not a view, but a question I usually ask myself from time to time is this: really, how passionate are we to recreate humanity? Because from what I've seen so far, the intention is not to make life easier for everybody, but for the ones that are in power of these systems that are available to them. Most of the things that I'm seeing so far is that the people who have access to the AI are trying to figure out ways to make the most out of other humans. So I really have interest on what is it that's driving that force that we have to feed from one another to recreate this artificial human, rather artificial intelligence. Thank you.
So thank you so much to my panelists. It is very insightful comments that you've made. I think the future is here, as they will say, and we do need to worry about the human aspect, tracing it down all the way to human rights, and especially children's rights. So for my panelists, I want to focus a bit on the education aspect. Okay? We're all students here, so which means we've got a number of years. We've been from primary education, high school, and now we're at varsity. If I may ask, perhaps, Wilfred, do you think AI has changed how students learn? If it has, how do you think it is changing how students learn?
Okay, so artificial intelligence in general is no different from a textbook knowledge. The difference is that the information you get out of an artificial intelligence system is way faster than you would inside a normal textbook. And I think back then you need a formal coursework, or you need to sit in a room where they are teaching the content for you to learn from it. But now with the outcome of artificial intelligence, we can now easily get information, so you don't really need to focus on normal coursework for you to gain the skills that you need. But now you can just directly tap into these resources that are available to learn whatever you need to learn. I was speaking with someone, and the person mentioned that if you are someone, you have a question, and the question is with you for 24 hours, you are not serious, because you have access to a lot of information, you always get access to every question that you have. So I think artificial intelligence has changed how each and every student look at the world and the kind of skills we can get from these systems. Thank you.
Still mulling over AI and the impact. I'm not sure if Wilfred, you're saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but maybe the next next panelists will, unless you want to, are you saying it's good or bad?
Well, there are sketchy parts to it, that much is true, yes. Because right now, I think a lot of students allow their assessments to be written by artificial intelligence without owning the knowledge themselves, which isn't a good thing, because your own throughput is very important. Because if you allow the system to write everything that you require for you and you don't spend time understanding the thing itself, then that is not a good thing. So, it's a sketchy topic that industry is currently discussing, academia, school, and top of it. Students should focus on doing the work themselves rather than happen to just through AI and they get whatever information that they need. So it's a good to it and it's a bad to it. I can't really commit to one thing, so I'd rather just sit on the fence.
So there's some good, some bad. Building on Wilfred spoke there, perhaps good time, because I know you're very passionate about the psychological impact of technology. What are the risks that you can think of? What are the risks of over-reliance on artificial intelligence in the context of learning?
Thank you for the question. I think the main risk is, as already mentioned, is that you need to know the knowledge yourselves in order to change any policy. We've spoken about governance and policy, but if you allowing AI, the thing itself that we're trying to govern, to write for you, to learn for you, then where are we going to get that knowledge from? So we need to avoid that. So you need to do a portion of the studying in a traditional manner so that we have ways to govern AI, because if AI is writing for us, then how are we going to govern it? I think that's one of the risks, and how we're going to manage something itself is writing for us in the educational space. Also, how valid is the information, and does it actually apply to an African context? Because a lot of the information, even textbooks, sometimes neglected an African perspective. So if we continue with AI, which is also wasted in nature, then it's still going to be left out. So yeah, that's the risk for me. Perspectives that I might
Moving the conversation a bit forward. Stanley, you claim the future is already here. Keeping that in mind, what are your thoughts on artificial intelligence and its impact on employment? Will AI create more jobs than it replaces? What are your thoughts?
Okay, thank you. So with every new technology that comes, we see, well, there is supposed to be an increase in employment, but then we often hear that AI is about to take our jobs and all that. AI is about to take my, I don't know, graphic design job and all that. But then the issue here is not really with AI, it's with the strategies we use or take in the employment sector. So the policies that would have to be set, the strategies that would have to be set, is what is key to making sure that people actually get jobs when AI takes full control. Not full control, but then some control. And so we shouldn't only focus on AI, because AI is already here. So let's rather focus on how to use AI to create more jobs, how to improve upon the existing jobs, and I think we would be on the safe side.
Thank you, Stanley. Can you use AI to improve the job? Perhaps can you please pass the mic to your neighbor, the little Mukulu? Still on the issue of AI and employment, Mukulu, what skills should graduates develop to remain relevant? I think Miriam said something about so what skills do you think to make graduates relevant?
I believe AI could be used in any department or any faculty field as an evidence that in agriculture it just increased the way that crop production, estimation in terms of the weather, forecastation, and then also how as IT students we develop softwares. It's much more faster than when we're given a task of 2 weeks. Traditionally, that you use with the body that you study with or you code with, you take 2 weeks. Now then you have a that you code with, you take 2 weeks, 2 hours. And also in terms of fintech also, where that now the banks are starting to create this data training models, large models. So I do believe that in every health department that many people are trying to, because there's an article that I read, it's about that pit rescue, about people who were, in terms of health, where about 12 people were about to die by the terms of the assistance of AI. It made an alert to the doctors and the nurses, so they were able to revive those 12 people due to the AI. So I do believe AI can be used in any field. It's just that in an ethical way, and how we prompt AI and how we take AI in terms of the use.
Thank you, I think we're going to hear that when one says to end with any comment.
Okay. Whilst we're still on the question of what skills should graduates develop to remain relevant in this time where we have so much AI advancements, from my side, I believe now it has actually put some spotlight on the soft skills that we lack as humans. Skills like leadership are needed to be paid attention to now, because from having good leadership skills, you can use AI as a good companion to give something valuable back to your environment. For lack of a better example, I would say let's think of a scenario where we have someone called Lucky. He's from a disadvantaged village. He's studying IT. And his idea is that once he gets his degree, he's just going to work and make money for himself and only for his family to benefit. If he had good leadership skills that can be developed as a skill from university, not only will he now shift his mindset to have a mind of governing others, leading others, but the ripple effect of that will pin back to where he comes from, the community. Then now he will start to use AI to initiate things that will benefit not only his family, but the whole community at large. That's how I think now we should shift our focus from looking at it from a highly technical view to a more humanity-based view. Soft skills like how to articulate yourself, how to have good leadership skills, all those kinds of skills that we need on a basic level for competence. Those are the ones I believe should be upskilled a bit more to remain relevant in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Food for the audience. I'd like now to bring Miriam into the conversation. This one, I'm eagerly waiting the answer for probably one that's close to my heart as well. In your opening comments, the world is changing and we must change along with it. When you said that, I think of my rural community and I think of my family in the townships. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not your question, I'm thinking to myself, I think we're all right, we must change. But I'm also worried about what that change would look like in the world of AI for my township community and my rural community. Now to get to your question. Now we're going to focus on AI and ethics and human rights, right? But I don't want you to talk on all of those. I just want you to consider the question that says, how can AI reinforce existing social inequalities?
All right, thank you for the question. So I think for the existing inequalities, the AI reinforces them depending on where it's used. Right now, most of the AI tools we have, they've been developed in Europe and the Americas. rarely do we see the top ones being from Africa, Ghana, let me say. Most of us are familiar with ChatGPT and Claude, none of them from Ghana. Now these AIs were trained on data sets based on where they were generated. I don't think if they wanted to train ChatGPT, they would come all the way to Ghana to collect data from here and use to train the AI. Now we are using it here based on something that was built not for us, but then for them. So if there are existing inequalities, let's say in the foreign countries, mostly males were employed into the IT space, and let's say in Ghana, females were employed into the IT space more. If you're using the AI for something related to that kind of work, it would answer you based on that bias. So it's furthermore pushing that inequality. There are other areas to consider, for example, some medications. Let's say I'm a biomedical engineer, so for a BP monitor like this, we have the ones for babies and then the ones used for adults. If AI was to answer something related to that, and it was only trained on the BP monitors used for adults, it wouldn't answer the one related to the babies correctly. So I think AI is actually pushing the inequalities because of the process used to train the models. If we had more of the African trained AI tools, I think those inequality gaps would be bridged.
Thank you, thank you for that answer. And pushes us a bit to another elephant in the room around data sets from Africa. Now, just to conclude on the issue of AI ethics, I want to move to Wilfred, as I'm trying to point it to the Wilfred, I think even in the panel report on AI governance, there's mention now that we need to start to think about safeguards, right, around the use of AI. What safeguards would you say? What safeguards are necessary to protect privacy and human rights?
So, like one of the presentations that we had up here displayed, I think one of the key ideas is transparency. Transparency is one of the very big things that needs to be spoken about. So, like Mr. Thatcher said, the new updates of the AI models are adding a kind of model where it explains now before it gives you the output. So it goes through its thought process kind of, and it gives you the explanation of how it reached that output. So that's an example of the transparency that's being developed. And like I said, that's a key idea because we need to see how we got to that output. Because the data that we put in is the only good thing that, the output of the AI is only as good as your prompt. Right? So after we prompted, we need to see how we reached, how we got to that conclusion. So transparency is a really big safeguard that we need to implement.
Thank you for that. So people want to know how we get to the answers that we arrive at. Last but definitely not least, because you gave me a difficult name, and I'm like practicing this keyword name, and I'm saying it wrong still. Please help me today for the last time. Your name, Akua. I have a question that I want you to relax into. Okay? I want you to consider this whole conversation around the global divide. Right? It was the global digital divide, which we kind of, all of us have acknowledged to varying degrees. But now there's this looming global AI divide. Okay? I actually just need a thoughts on that. But for more specific direction, if your thoughts push you in that direction, the question is, who benefits most from AI?
Well, I think AI is primarily created to make improvements in various sectors like health, transport, maybe communication. But then when it comes to who benefits the most from AI, ideally it's supposed to be the people that use the AI to accomplish different things. But I would say it would be the developers of the AI. Those making the AI tools, they do that, they train them with data sets with their own context, they do that, they distribute it to people who would be able to get the access to it, possibly pay for it. So at the end of the day, the benefit comes to them. And then it's not like they put in place measures by which the AI will be more accessible to everybody. So let's say we're making a device and then it has an AI embedded into it, and then you send it to say here to be used in the hospitals. It's not like they've made arrangements for it to be context specific, for it to account for everybody and like that will actually use the device. So I think at the end of the day, the benefit goes back to the developers.
Right. Thanks for that. Now, as I'm going to give you 10 seconds because you already invited yourself into that, but I do want you to have your firm position. We're still on the global AI account. That's our final comment now before we open the conversation to the floor. Who should be responsible for bridging this global divide? Should international organizations play a role in this? Who should be responsible for addressing some of the blatant inequalities that we see emerging in the adoption and implementation of AI?
That's a good question. I highly believe the general governing body system should have some sort of responsibility on how we can bridge this international divide. For example, coming from South Africa, I have a bit of faith, actually a lot of faith, that the government one day, the ruling parties would one day come and say, we're investing in the development of our infrastructures, we're creating our own data centers, so that we can have our own systems that are based on our own personal data, like we've mentioned earlier, with the issue of data being trained by these dominant companies. From the statistics that we have currently, America is the one that's highly in demand and control of these AI development systems. So part of me believes that the governing bodies should bear some responsibility to enable the nations that they are ruling with the necessary resources, education, and upskilling programs that we can try and bridge this divide on the national standard that we have now. Secondly, I believe we ourselves, more especially the youth that's in the room, I believe so much that we have so much potential to change the current situations, especially with how AI is now. We don't need to rely on people like Donald Trump to come and say, Ghana, you're invited in this AI development project. We ourselves can say, let's start our own data centers. Let's see how we can collaborate. The networking that we have here, let's see how we can join resources and we grow this AI development that we have continentally in Africa. That speaks to the Pan-African vision that we still have laying at our the back of our minds. So for me, it's two actors in this situation: the governing body and us ourselves, mainly the youth, that are responsible for bridging this international divide.
Thank you, Katlego. Interesting thoughts. Youth in agreement. Uti, it's you guys that can play a big part in bridging this digital divide. Yes?
Yes.
And thank you to my panelists. I'm trying to find somewhere. I can't see that. I wanted to check if we're still good for time. Whilst we're looking for confirmation on our time, I do want us to shift focus now to the youth that is in the session, right? We've had insightful thoughts being shared by your colleagues, and now we would like to hear from your side, whether it's a comment or a question, but please jump into this conversation. I've got a hand scratching your head. I think in my class it counts as a raised hand. If you scratch your head like this, it means you raised your hand. We've got a hand over there. I'm not sure who's helping me with the microphones.